everybody, it's Christy with Cottage Grove Quilt Company. Hey! So several of you asked about my finger. So let me give you an update on my finger first. So here's the new bandage. So I had to have a cyst removed from my right index finger. It was what they call a ganglion cyst. The type of cyst of the ganglion was a mucoid cyst. I know that's probably more information than you ever wanted to hear. It was a very minor procedure, but I do have to have my Band-Aid for about 2 weeks because of all the stitches that's in it. And but everything went fine, so no issues. So anyway, it's good to join you. I'm sorry I was a couple days late getting the video up with having the surgery on Monday. My hand was just, a huge, piece of gauze. And then yesterday it was crazy busy. So I'm finally doing this Thursday morning. So my sincere apologies for being a little late. So we are going to talk about doing our sashing for our hope block. So you can see this is our hope block. And last week we did, or the last 2 weeks, we did an abundance of these little V blocks. Okay? Those little V blocks. Well, this week we are going to work on getting the sashing together for them. Now, there's going to be some points that you're going to have to work on and that we're going to go over in this video, but your center sashing here is going to be 2.5 by 6.5. 2.5 by 6.5. The reason why I got to that number, let me explain the math. This is a 10-inch finished block. These are 2-inch finished V blocks. So I need, 2 plus 2 is 4. So to get to 10 inches, I needed 6 inches of sashing. So this is 6 inches here, but because we're having to add for our seam allowances, 6.5. So this is 6.5 inches here, and we're going to sew these two together, and they should be 10.5 inches when we're done. Right, so let's go to the sewing machine. Okay, so we're here at the sewing machine. You can see I've zoomed in really close so you can see all the dust on my sewing machine. Goodness me. We're going to give it just a quick spritz of canned air because that just looks bad. Okay, so I went back and looked at the pattern, and I'm really glad I did. So let me zoom out real quick and let me show you why. The points are needing to point into the sashing. When I showed them on the whiteboard, the design board, I had the points going this way. That is not correct. Don't go that way. You need them to go pointing in. So be sure when you lay this out, and again, you guys always know what I say, layout, layout, layout. So when you lay this out, you need to be absolutely sure that you've got those points going in. All right, so let's get to the sewing machine. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Now I'm going to line this up. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to line this up just perfectly. See that? See how nice that is? Making sure all of my things line up, everything lines up. If you need to grab a stiletto, do that. Then we're going to hit the needle. So I'm zooming in really close so you can see as I stitch. All right, so here we go. Let me just start, and again, you want to be sure you're using a good 1/4 inch seam. Now, when I get to this intersection, I want to be sure I'm lining this up, and I'm going to pass either spot on that point or just a thread to the right of that point. Okay, so just be sure, and if you have to adjust just a touch, you can do that. And then just keep going. And the reason why you want to do that is because that way you don't lose your point. See, look at that. Isn't that point just lovely? All right. Now I'm going to repeat with the other side so you can see it again. We're going to line this up just snazzy. Look at that. Put it in. Zoom in so you guys can see up close. and stitch. Okay, now we're going to press these, and you know what, they're naturally going to press this direction towards the sashing, and I'm fine with that. So I go ahead and I'm going to take my pressing pin and give it a little mojo juice there, just so it has a nice press, and then we're going to take it to the iron and press it, and then we will show it with the finished block. Okay, so we're back at the design board, and I have got my piece laid out here, and I have got it matched up perfectly, 10.5 inches, and that's what you want. You want it to be perfectly come together at 10.5 inches. So again, you've got your 2 V blocks on this side, and you've got 2.5 by 6.5 as your sashing. Now for this week, all you're going to do is finish making your sashing. You're going to put 2 V blocks on the other side of this strip, sew them together. Do not sew them to the block. We are doing this on point, so next week we will come back. We will lay out our quilt next week, okay? And then you will see you have to actually sew these sashings together and then sew them to the entire row when you're doing on point. And we'll talk about that more next week. But for right now, this week, you're gonna finish these sashing pieces. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to post it onto our Facebook group. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and enjoy the journey with us. A lot of fun stuff we do every week. And now that we're back in our mojo game and all is good, you should start to see even more stuff coming your way. So I hope you guys have a great day and happy stitching. Bye.